Our objective is the student will classify angle relationships. Today is the 18th. So today we will be discussing different type of angles that are created and the relationship it has with another angle. The first vocab word that we have is complementary. And complementary angles are two angles which add or sum to 90 degrees. So if we look at our example here, this angle in red here and this angle in purple here, when you combine them together, they add to equal 90 degrees. Our next vocab word is supplementary angles. And supplementary means two angles that sum to 180 degrees. So if we look at our example right here, notice you learned in elementary school that a straight line has 180 degrees. So when we put this angle here and this angle here next to each other, this angle here and this angle here together will make 180 degrees. Also think of it as this. It makes that angle there plus this angle here makes half of a circle. And half of a circle we learned in last chapter is 180 degrees. So to remember the difference between these two, I remember it as C comes before S in the alphabet and 90 comes before 180 when you count. The next type of angles we will be talking about are vertical angles. And vertical angles are formed when two lines intersect at one point. They are the angles opposite of each other. So if we look here, two lines cross and meet at a point. The ones that are opposite of each other are vertical angles. So for example, angle 4 and angle 1 are vertical angles. I also remember it as it makes a V. That makes a V. Okay, those are vertical angles. And also angle 2 and angle 3 are vertical angles. So you might say, what's the big deal about vertical angles? Well, vertical angles, if we look here, so if we look at angle 4, okay, I've outlined it in green. If I turn it around, it is the same measure as angle 1. It fits right perfectly over it. So angle 4 and angle 1, they are called vertical angles, and we know they are equal. If we look at angle 2, okay, I outlined it in green. If I turn it, it is the exact same measure as angle 3. So what we have just discovered here is that vertical angles have the same measure. So let's use this vocab and apply it to our next problems. So the directions say, tell whether the angles are complementary, supplementary, or neither. So I'm going to remind myself, complementary, C comes before S in the alphabet, so that means they should total 90. And supplementary means they should total 180. So I'm going to tell you that the measure of angle 1 is 25 degrees. And the measure of angle 2 is 65 degrees. And I want to know if I put these two angles together, whether they will form a right angle, whether they will be a straight line, 180. Which one of these will it be? So we know they should sum to 90 or sum to 180. So let's sum them up. So 90 degrees. So this would be, and let's abbreviate, I'll put C for complementary. Okay, example 2. The measure of angle 4 is 34 degrees. And if I'm going too fast, please raise your hand and let the sub know, and she can pause this and restart it. So let's sum this up. (160 degrees). So that is not 90, it's not supplementary, this would be neither. There's nothing special about them. One more example, let's go put 103 here. And then go ahead and sum them up. And we get 180 degrees, which makes them supplementary. Okay. Our next examples, it says find the measure of angle 1. So I have to give you some given information. So let's go ahead and put 48 degrees here. Go ahead and put 135 degrees here. And go ahead and put 128 degrees here. So that would be given to you. You need to find the measure of this angle that's labeled as 1. So my job is to prepare you for Algebra 1. So we do as much stuff with equations as possible, so when it gets harder, you can apply it to equations next year. So if we look at example 5, you should know this is a right angle, so they are complementary. So I don't know what this angle is, so I'm going to put an X instead. But I know together, this plus the 48 should equal 90 degrees. And then I have an equation that I can solve. We get that this unknown is 42 degrees. And then check them. 48 plus 42 is 90. Okay, first thing when I look at number 10, I see a straight line. When they're together, they make a straight line. So that's 180 degrees. I don't know what this is, but I know that that angle plus this angle, if they are supplementary, they make 180, a half of a circle like that, it equals 180. And then I'm going to solve this equation. I'm going to subtract 135. And we get that x equals 45 degrees. Okay, example 11. If I look, I am given two lines that intersect, and these two angles right here are opposite of each other. They are called vertical angles. Vertical angles are the same, they are equal. So if I don't know what this is, I know that these two are equal. So if this is 128, this equals 128. They are equal to each other. Okay, let's step it up a bit. and let's try these examples here. We're going to have more algebra involved in these questions. Go ahead and put 5x degrees here. So same thing, you look at it, and you're going to be using one of these vocab words. So if we look at number 13, I see a straight line. I know that this angle plus this angle equals, together they are supplementary, together they add to 180. So we're going to simplify 7x and 5x. That makes 12x. And then divide by 12. And we'll get x equals 15. So if x equals 15, just to check it to see if I got my answer right, 5 times 15, that's 75 degrees. And then 7 times 15 is 105 degrees. Together, they equal 180. So I know I got my answer right. So remember, you can plug in your answer for x into the problem to make sure your answer is right. Let's go ahead and put 8x there. So that would be given, that this angle right here is 8x. But we should know that this box right here means that together, all together, the 8x plus the 42 equals not a whole circle, but a fourth of one. That means 90 degrees. And then go ahead and solve that equation. I'm going to cover up the variable. I'm going to subtract 42. And now that the variable term is by itself, I'm going to divide by 8. So we get that x equals 6. And if x was 6, you'd get 48 and 42, which, yep, that equals 90. Okay, one last example. Go ahead and put a 6x here. 6x degrees. So when we look at this, we should see that they are opposite of each other. That means that this angle equals this angle. They are vertical angles. They are equal. So that means 6x equals the same thing that 2x plus 36 equals. They are equal. They are vertical angles. When they are opposite, they have the same measure. So now we're going to solve this equation. I have a variable on both sides, so I can't highlight it yet. I got to get rid of one of them. So I'm going to subtract 2x. So now all the x's are on the left side. So 6x take away 2x, that's 4x. Now the variable's all by itself, so now I can divide by 4. So we get that x equals 9. If you check it and you plug in a 9 here, 6 times 9, that makes this 54 degrees. It's definitely not drawn to scale. And then if I plug in a 9 here, 2 times 9 is 18 plus 36, that makes this side 54. So they are equal. It works. Just checked it. The sub will now pass out your homework. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask the person next to you. And remember, the answer key is posted on the back wall. One person at a time can go check their work. Please be good for the sub, and I will see you on Tuesday. Have a great day.